ahead and go into screen share.
Yeah,
So
screen share. Yeah.
you go into screen share and let's take a look at the notes that you have done so far.
Can you see my right?
Yes, I can see your computer screen. Great.
Yes.
Okay, so we were talking about Donato.
Yeah.
Donato. So he was that second most influential. Well, why don't you tell me about what the notes that we have taken so far?
Yeah. So Donato was the second most influential architecture in Renaissance. His architecture was based on the High Renaissance architecture, and the trend of the High Renaissance architecture was started from the Renaissance late late 15th to early 16th, characterized by universal mastery of the classical forms of Italian. And Bramant's Tempiatu was built in the most sacred place in Rome, where Saint Peter was here, adapted an imitation of ancient Roman temples. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think we already, yes, described it.
Oh, that was everything.
Yes,
Torsion, Bramante later
these are everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's done, but we didn't speaking. Yes, we didn't summarizing it with voice.
Well, did we? I'm not sure if we did. I don't think we did the last part where it says what it described the uh, the Tempietto's building structure. I don't think we went over that.
Uh,
That's gonna
uh,
be on line 30. It's at the end of line 30. It starts with "It is round."
yes, yes, maybe
Yeah, we didn't go over that.
yeah,
So let's go ahead and practice reading that, and then also add some of that to the notes, to your notes. Ready?
yeah, right.
So we have it is a round structure encircled on the outside by slender Doric columns and topped with a perfectly proportioned dome. Bramante later participated in the design and construction of the giant dome atop St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican, a monumental achievement in Renaissance design for which he is best known today.
Yes, my turn. It is a round structure encircled on the outside by slender Doric columns and topped with a perfectly proportioned dome. Bramante later participated in the design and construction of the giant dome atop Saint Peter's Basilica at the Vatican, a monumental achievement in Renaissance design for which he is best known today.
That's right. Okay, so let's think about they gave us a description about the Tempietto. What
Yes.
is the key descriptions?
I think the round structure is the key word,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that Bramante later participated in the design and construction of the giant dome atop St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican.
Well, we sort of know that from the beginning, right? Because
Uh,
we have Bramante's Tempiento, so they kind of, I mean, it's not as specific, but the other thing that is really important is it's not only a round building, which you covered, but it also has a round dome. The
round,
roof,
round,
uh-huh. The
round,
roof is also round.
also round, yes.
Hmm. And one other really important is the columns.
Columns,
The columns, so like the poles.
pores,
And
columns,
that's
and perfectly proportioned.
yeah, yeah, perfectly proportioned. So these are really important because one of the main ideas in this paragraph is they're saying that everyone mastered the classical forms of the Roman architecture, right? So what is that? Well, that's going to be the rounded domes, perfect proportion,
Yes.
the columns, right? These are all classical Roman architecture.
Ah,
And
that is
so
a,
if they mastered this, then these are all things that they know how to do really well whenever they construct a building.
yes, right. So these traits these traits are the Roman Asian style. Yes.
Right. So the classical forms, right? So we're kind of they talked about the classical forms. So then let's specify what are those classical forms.
The round structure with slender Doric columns,
Mm-hmm. So the Doric columns is important.
slender Doric Doric columns,
Uh-huh.
and a perfectly proportioned dome.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Per perfectly yes, perfectly proportioned portion dome.
Mm-hmm.
This is the trait of the ancient Roman style.
That's right. That's right. And so when they built the St. Peter's Basilica, what they're trying to tell us is that well they use these exact characteristics, these classical forms, and then they used it for the Peter's Basilica dome.
Peter Basilica stone, yes. So these traits that were adapted in this construction.
Yeah, many buildings, but they're going to use the same sort of classical rules. Same rules, different building, same rules.
Yes, I understand. Yes, the trait of the Brahmantes Tempiatu.
Okay, so we got all the some key information from paragraph 4. So let's go ahead and summarize this.
Yeah, summarize this. Yes, always it is difficult. Yes.
It is difficult. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Donato was the second influential architecture in Renaissance. His works were based on the Renaissance architecture. The trend of the high Renaissance architecture was started from the late 15th to early 16th century, and it was characterized by universal mastery of the classical forms by Italians.
Mm-hmm.
The important pieces of the Donato is the Tempiatu, which was built in the most sacred place in Rome, where Saint Peter was killed. It was adapted an imitation of an ancient Rome temple. It was a round structure with slender Doric columns and perfectly proportioned dome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's do it a little bit different. So we'll again practice this, but this time I'm just gonna ask you some questions. But I want to see if you can do it without reading it. So can you hide that? Can you hide it? Uh-huh.
Hide it.
Hide it. Hide it.
Yes,
so
hide
you can
it.
hide it and then bring it back up. Okay, so here's my first question for you.
Yes.
Who is Donato Bramante?
He was the second most influential architecture in Renaissance.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And in this paragraph, they talked about the High Renaissance. When did that occur?
Lately 15th to early 16th century.
Mm-hmm. And Bramante, he's really famous for a particular type of structure.
Tempiatus, Bramantes Tempiatus.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. And so, in the High Renaissance, one of the key ideas was the mastery of the classical forms. What are those classical forms?
What are the classical forms? That was a round. Yes, there was a Doric dome perfectly proportioned dome,
Hmm.
and that kind of things.
Exactly. And what else? What else?
What else?
Yes, so that was one of
round,
the classical forms, but there was two other ones.
round, round structure,
Round structure,
and yeah, give me a second. Round structure and slender,
Well,
slender.
why don't you open your document again and review your document one more time?
Yes. This is like this. Round structure, slender dormic columns, and perfectly proportioned dome. Three.
So if we really want to make it kind of more simple, we could basically say round structure,
Yes.
columns,
Yes.
dome.
Dome. Yes.
So if you can remember those three words, then it's kind of an easier way to summarize, because when they say like the Doric, it just means like a very some little bit different, kind of special, but it's
Yes.
kind of like the name of the column.
Name of the column. Yeah. Yeah. So we should we should we should memorize the words round, columns, and dome.
Right, and then that way it's a little bit easier to memorize. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you the same question. Go ahead and minimize the document.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. So the High Renaissance is really famous for the mastery of the classical forms. What are those classical forms?
Mastery of universal by Italians.
Well, that's right. So we know that they mastered the classical style, right? When they say classical forms, they basically mean the classical building style,
Yeah, classical building style.
right? So what were those three characteristics of the classical style?
What was the three characteristics of classical styles? Uh, that was the round structure,
The round
dome and
structure, very good.
dome, dome and the columns.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So those were the three things that they mastered during the High Renaissance.
Yeah,
The
the dome.
builders. Yep, yep. Okay, so let's see if you can. So I guess in this, I asked you three questions. One was who was it,
Yeah.
when, and then what were the three classical forms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think you can take all those three information and can you tell me what paragraph 4 was about?
So yeah, sure. So I summarize it. With when you ask me.
Who,
Yeah. So
when, and what were the characteristics of the classical forms or classical
sure.
style?
Yeah, sure. I summarize it.
Mm-hmm.
High Renaissance was started from lately 15th century to early 16th century. In that time, Donata Bramantez was the second most influential architecture in High Renaissance period. The characteristics of the High Renaissance period were the round structure, a slender Doric dome, and give me a second.
You almost had it.
Slender Doric and a slender Doric columns and dome.
Okay, so tell me the classical forms one more time.
Yeah, so the classical form, the characteristic of the classical form were the round structure and slender Doric columns and dome.
Exactly. You got it. All right.
Yes, yeah.
Nice job. Nice job with that. All right, so come on back into Skype.
Yes. From that scratch.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at these questions.
Yeah, yes.
So we have number 1, according to paragraph 1, what caused the Renaissance thinkers to look to ancient Rome for inspiration?
Yes, give me a second.
Hmm.
Paragraph 1. Uh, they recognize Rome as being the world's greatest empire. Oh, that is not,
Hmm.
right?
That's right. That's right. A is not.
They wanted to bring art and running. Ah, yes, B is right. B is right.
B is the correct answer. Good job.
Mm.
Okay, let's look at the word intimidating. What does that mean?
That were more intimidating than beautiful. Hurricane buildings that were more intimidating. The two dominant styles of any other architecture produced massive. I think that might be the frightening.
Frightening. That's right. That's right. And so, if you remember, um, they used this word in this story, but they weren't really talking about the Renaissance. So, why did they use this word intimidating in this story?
So you mean that why the author used these words in this paragraph?
Because when we think about the Renaissance architecture, it's
Yeah.
not intimidating. It's actually the opposite. So why did they use this word in this story?
The two dominant styles of medieval architecture produced massive hurricanes were more imitating than beautiful. So the two dominant styles was I think the intimidating was not refers to the Renaissance, but
Exactly. So what were they talking about?
the two dominant styles were Romanesque style and Gothic style.
That's right. So when they say the Gothic was the opposite of the Renaissance, and that building style was intimidating or frightening.
Ah, yes, frightening than
Different style of building.
mm,
Different period, different style.
different styles.
Well, let's look at number 3. The author mentions the Romanesque style and the Gothic style in order to.
Mm, show that the Renaissance style has major impact is not correct.
Hmm.
Argue that Renaissance architecture is advanced style is not correct.
Hmm. Hmm.
Give a clear, give a clear picture.
Very good. Nice. Okay, and then let's move on to number 4, which is the phrase structure in the passage refers to.
So paragraph 3, yes. He has studied the structure. So Pantheon, I think.
That's right. And so, why do they talk about the pantheon in the story?
Yes, give me a second.
Hmm.
I think the Italy, the Filipino group, Filippo Bruneshers, they talk about him. And yes, the Pantheon was a ancient Roman style architecture.
Okay, and how does that connect to Filippo?
Uh, the Filippo's artworks were based on the Roman style Pantheon.
That's right. That's right. He was using the pantheon to, he used that as a model to learn about the Roman architecture.
Yes.
Okay, so we got one more question, number 5. The main idea that is the Renaissance period saw the introduction of the numerous elements of ancient Roman architecture into European culture that changed the art form forever. So, what are the main details that support this main idea?
Yes, which is three. The Renaissance period saw the introduction of numerous elements from ancient Roman architecture in European culture that changed the art form forever. Thanks to the intellectuals of time, philosophy and art enjoy a renewed vitality during that the pro A is wrapped and Florence is the site of I think yes B is right
B is right. Good job.
and the high Renaissance period is marked by a very explicit return to Roman styles, the best example of which is a monument called the San Pietro. C is right.
C is right. Nice job. Just need one more.
Yes, but I think A must be not.
That's right. A is not the correct choice. So it's gonna be either E, D, or F.
Yes, so I started from the F. It contrasts to the dreary architecture of the Middle Ages. Architecture was often playful in its style. F maybe not.
Actually, no.
And
F. No,
we
F. You said F?
yeah.
No, F is the correct one.
F is the correct one.
F was correct. In contrast, because this is where they talked a lot about the Romanesque and Gothic style. Remember, I was saying like, why did they use the word intimidating in this story? Well, it's because they were trying to explain that the Renaissance was different from the Gothic.
Yes, the playful. Yes, playful means that. Playful means the opposite of the intimidating. Uh-huh.
So, and for me, it's a little bit kind of unusual to describe buildings as playful. We usually don't do that. So, but it was. I mean, if you said the building looks, fresh, it looks light, it looks comfortable, right? I mean, I guess that's somewhat connected to playful, but the Renaissance was, yeah, it's supposed to be sort of fun, light, inspirational, but
Mm.
definitely not scary
Yes,
and not sad
not
or
that.
scary, right? And that's basically like the Gothic style.
Gothic style. In contrast to the
hmm
Gothic style, the Renaissance is very lively.
Yes, a lot of energy, right? I think if you were to listen to, probably if you wanted to understand like playful,
Yes.
Renaissance architecture, probably like the music. If you listen to music during this time and compared it with the music from the Gothic period, the music would probably sound playful. Or if you read some of the stories or plays, because there were writers at that time, if you read some of the literature might be playful
Yeah. Oh,
compared to the literature from the Gothic period,
yes,
right?
compared to the Gothic style.
Now, I do want to show you one really good example, um, and I think this will almost perfectly symbolize the classical classical forms. So, uh, this building is called the Jefferson Memorial, and it's a monument sort of slash building for a president in the U.S. And the reason I want to show you is it really is a perfect example of the classical style. So let me show this to you. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, I can see. Yes, I see that.
Okay, so we call this the Jefferson Memorial. It's basically nothing in here. It's just empty. It's open, right? Because you can walk straight through and then you're gonna see the other side. There's air. It just goes through here. But here's what they're talking about, the dome,
Yes,
the round building,
yes.
and then here we have the columns.
Yes, the, the, the top, the part of the top is the dome, round. It looks round,
Exactly.
and the many pillows mean many pillows called columns.
Many columns, right? And the entire building structure is also round.
Yeah, I can recognize. Yes, yes, it actually contains the trait of the Renaissance.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so everything that we just read about, I mean, this is what you would see something in Italy or something if you went there.
Yeah, location in the
hmm
Washington D.C.
Now, sometimes the buildings, not all Roman buildings were round. Some of them were rectangular, right?
I think to
Yeah, their shape was either square or rectangle. But they did also have buildings that were round.
yeah, so yeah, round,
hmm
round is the yeah, symbol of the Renaissance.
Yeah, so that was the Renaissance architecture. So let's go ahead and take a pause for today.
Yeah.
So we've finished that lesson. So when we come back on Wednesday, then we're gonna take a look at the next story, which is about the Hopi Indians. So these are Native American Indians, and they made some famous pottery. So we're gonna read about that.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish our lesson on that note. So have a nice evening tonight, and then I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yes.
Alrighty, bye.
Yes. Bye.